else you got that's mine?
Now, I don't want to kill you, and you don't want to be dead.
You can't be that good.
Let's get out!
What's all this, then?
This is a crazy town, Emmett. I think we ought to just get out of here.
No, this is your horse. Can't you see this horse loves me? Making a big mistake.
That's what I told him.
If I brought a pretty lady like that into a place like this, I'd stay close. I think you got a point, Emmett. Maybe I better stay here with her.
Well, we're gonna give you a fair trial, followed by a first-class hanging.
I had enough of what ain't right.
Some people think they can push you around, but it's only true if you let it be.
I don't want you to get hurt.
You want one of these? This ought to do.
Let's get out!
Hanging around with you is no picnic.
Come on!
Welcome back to Late to the Party, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. This week, we get to see and probably round out our Western theme that we got on for a while there, thanks to Lego and his El Topo. So this week, I picked Silverado. It's a classic Western, modern Western, I guess. Okay. So it was released in 1985. It had a rating of PG-13 at the time. It runs 2 hours and 13 minutes. It has an IMDb score of 7.2 out of 10, and thankfully my cohort Josh here looked up the Walmart score and it got a 4.9 out of 5. So all the Hicks and Hillbillies love this one. It was directed by Lawrence Kasdan of Empire Strikes Back fame, and I think he did an Indiana Jones too. Also, it stars a whole slew of people. It has Kevin Kline, Scott Glenn, Kevin Costner, Danny Glover, John Cleese, Nate's favorite, Rosanna Arquette, Brian Dennehy, Linda Hunt, Jeff Goldblum, and one of our late to the party actresses from Nightmare on Elm Street, Amanda Weiss. She plays a hooker in this one. So
did she play a hooker in Nightmare on Elm Street also?
Close enough.
So I think, what did I say? It cost $26 million to make, and it grossed $32 million at the box office. And I think they were saying that the reason why it cost so much to make actually wasn't because of the pay for the actors that were all involved, but it was because it was filmed on location. And all this stuff there's no CGI, no super special effects. Everything there is practical and done. So, who all has seen Silverado?
Previously?
It's my first time.
All right, I got a bunch of virgins on the show today.
Yeah.
Can't say that too often. All right, so Lego, let's start with you. Compared to all of the other Westerns that we've seen, how would you rate your first outing on Silverado?
I liked it a whole lot. I feel like we kind of we had our taste of an acid Western. We had a bit of a more foreign film feel with the good, bad, and ugly. And this, I don't know if blockbuster is the right word for it, but it certainly had a more
star-studded cast.
Yeah, a more American feel, let's say. And I liked it. I feel like each Western we've watched so far had its own flavor. We could see kind of the ideals and what they were working with, what they were trying to put forward with their film. And this one really, it had its own flavoring, and it was really good. I really enjoyed that it was a little bit more action packed, but I don't feel that the action detracted from the story in any way. I still felt like it did a really good job of like, showing each character and using them in a way to be like kind of butted up against the Wild West society and the corruption of the time and the difficulties that a lot of the people were facing out there. So all in all, I'd say each movie was successful in doing their own things, but this one was really cool too. I liked it.
Nate, what did you think of of Silverado? I always am nervous when I ask him that question, but that's 2 hours of my life I'm never gonna get back, or damn it had a Monty Python person in it. So.
No, I mean, now that we've got back to our own personal touch on these, I was very fully aware that this is going to be a Liz movie. So the this is like, if I was to go to a Liz triple feature, it would be like this one, Cutthroat Island, and like The Goonies, so
okay, that's fair.
There was lots of it. When I went into it putting my Liz goggles on, I just really wanted to like try to take a page out of Lego's book and just be entertained with the movie for what it was. And every time the snark in me started coming up, I'd be like, dude, just have fun. Like, just try to have fun. So, that being said, it was pretty fun. I wasn't too convinced with Kevin Costner being a kid. I thought that the score was way overboard. I think that if they had put like grimier music in there, that it would have changed the entire tone of the movie without changing any scenes or any actors or anything. But it was just like it was just like just like chorus line happy music.
That's 80s for you, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a product of the time.
Unforgiven was in the 80s too.
No, I think that was the 90s.
Was it?
I think so. Yeah.
It was kind of like his comeback.
No, that wasn't a comeback. It was more like I never left.
Right? Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of movies that didn't have the Goonies
Unforgiven
soundtrack.
was 92.
Oh, there you go. I stand corrected. I still would have to go back in post and put in a Western from the 80s that didn't have a Goonies soundtrack in it. And the soundtrack was the biggest thing to me that was just like, there was things that happened that didn't feel like the music fit for me. But like I said, I did allow myself to have a good time. There was one thing at the end of the movie that it seemed like all of the protagonists got to have their send-off at the end and get the lady and ride off on their horse into the sunset, except Danny Glover. Last time you see Danny Glover, he's in the closet with his dying girl, and then they just forget about him, and then everybody else rides off into the sunset. So I'm just like, what happened to Danny Glover? Like,
no, he was on the cart with his sister at the end.
They went back to the homestead.
You stopped watching?
I might have been distracted by the music.
He blinked.
Did it show them get into the cart, or did they just happen to be in the cart?
They just ride up on the cart and they say goodbye, and then they go off to the homestead.
And the cows aren't there anymore because they stampeded already, right?
Something like that. I don't know. I didn't ask the cows.
But they didn't want the cows there, right?
They didn't want them there to begin. They were
He
farmers.
wanted them out of there. Yeah, he
Hey.
wanted them out of there.
That many head of cattle, that's worth a lot, especially since McKendrick is dead.
And he worked at a slaughterhouse, so he's gonna be making some nice
Bro.
prime steaks there.
Yeah.
All right, Isaac. Of all of the star-studded cast that you mentioned, who was your favorite character in this movie? Or
Cobb.
pick two.
It was,
If you have to.
it was Cobb. I
You
could
like
tell
the
he
bad
was,
guy?
I could tell he was the bad guy from the very beginning. I was like, dude, he's gonna be the main villain. We're gonna run into him later. Watch. And lo and behold, he's the sheriff of Silverado. And then Kevin Kline. Kevin Kline was just, I liked him as a cowboy. I was really entertained by him. I didn't expect to. Like when I first saw him in his dungarees in the very beginning, I was like, what the hell? But then he like started becoming more and more badass when he was even able to kill the dude with the wonky ass gun he first got. I was like, okay, he's slowly showing that he's a badass and he loves animals. But yeah, those were my two favorite characters. Oh, and Danny Glover. Donald Glover.
It's hard to pick, right? Like,
Yeah.
all
Because you
of
start
them
thinking
are
about
great.
everybody and you're just like, oh wait, that was good. And then Kevin Costner, he looked young. He was hella young. I don't know how you didn't think he was a kid. Like you could tell he was like teenager for the 80s.
42.
There's like 30-year-olds playing 14-year-olds on fucking TV at this time, dude.
That's right.
It was like I said, it's a product of their time, bro. All the music. This is totally a Liz flick. She loves action, adventure, excitement, and the good guys winning at the end. Yeah. So you do have a genre, and I like it. It's a movie I never saw, and I'm glad you brought it to us because it's been on Netflix for years, and it finally was watched. And I enjoyed it from front to end. Love the shoot 'em ups, the gambling, and the hookers. Yeah, they're going into the room with the hookers. Oh yeah,
Jose.
Jeff Goldblum too. Fuck, I forgot about him.
I know, right?
I was gonna say, how did you not like Jeff Goldblum?
He's such a dick. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh man, he's an asshole.
He was like a
obvious,
likable-
too, that
he was like a
he was
likable
He was the
asshole.
Jewish representative of the Old West.
Oh man.
You know, he didn't really have like a comedic. Normally, you see Jeff Goldblum, and he's got like this weird, quirky sense
Charisma.
about him and all of his characters. He didn't really
Yeah.
have that with this character. His character was just kind of like, I guess, mellow for Jeff Goldblum.
He was acting.
You know? Jose, since what did you think the first time out? How did you like Silverado? Give us your thoughts.
Man, I genuinely enjoyed it. In addition to the Simpsons arcade machine, there is another arcade machine that would take all of my quarters, and it was 4 cowboys, and each had a different. They each, 4 characters in that arcade game, and I remember like watching this movie, the score, the soundtrack, a lot of the shots, and just like the over the topness of it. It reminded me of that game, of that arcade game, and I swear I can't remember the name of
Sunset
it.
Riders.
What is it?
Sunset Riders.
Son of a bitch, you got it. That was it.
He's sitting in front of the computer. He's just like,
Oh my god, that's he's got a computer. I have my Sunset Riders. Yes. Oh, I was trying to remember what the hell it was called. Yeah, I loved that game.
Was the music in Sunset Riders? Dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Dude, it was like that, and then there's a scene where like all the cattle's running, and as the players you have to run over the cattle, and it was just so over the top, and it reminded me of this movie so much, and it took me back to that good place. And like I enjoyed all those characters. It was kind of like Lego was saying, we got that very artsy Western, we got that very critique or I don't know how you would call it of the Western, a look at from an outsider's perspective, like a European director. And now we got an actual like American Western, and it's like to have all 3 of those and just kind of come full circle. It was a lot of fun, and it's like this is the type of movie where it was like, man, if I watched it, like I was kind of bummed that I didn't watch it with Isaiah, because I'm like, this is the kind of movie that makes guys as kids, at least like growing up, this is the kind of shit that makes you want to be a cowboy. Where it's like me and my buddies going out, we're going out like equivalent to old timey Vegas. Like, we're gonna go get some hookers. We're gonna go, cause some trouble and some ruckus in this town. It's like, I don't know. It was just a lot of fun, man. Like, I can't describe this. I don't know how else to describe this movie, but fun. It wasn't too serious. It was just you know, like I there's like your 310 to Yumas, there's your good, bad, and uglies, and then Silverado, you know. And like I said, I know I'm a fan of something when I want to get some type of memorabilia. So I think my next car will be a Chevy Silverado, just in honor of this. So four door in honor of the four muchachos, and you know, to get the homies in there. So
right on. Are you gonna paint one of the doors black?
Oh.
The rims will be black. All four rims. It's gonna be white on black.
Are they gonna be spinning? Are they gonna spin?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I'm gonna put in a 6 sound system to bump that soundtrack. It's like, oh, here comes the comic cave.
Pale Rider. Pale Rider. Clint Eastwood, 1985.
Yeah.
I don't think it had. Dun, 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 dun. And Young Guns. Young Guns was an 80s Western.
Yeah. Music though. It was all Young Guns and
Yeah, I was just missing the song. This movie was just missing a John Bon Jovi soundtrack.
That was Young Guns too.
It was Young Guns too.
What's the difference with those two movies?
One had Bon Jovi and the other one didn't.
Oh, that's the only difference. So as our resident, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, but it was cool, man. For 1985, it's like you take a look at the world of pop culture in 1985. Like with comics, there was a huge change and shift in what was going on, and to place this there, it's kind of cool, man. It's like it's like what you guys were saying, product of its time. It's pretty dope. I enjoyed it a lot. So it's like a little mini time capsule.
Okay. Well, as our resident old fogey that I've seen
yeah,
a million times, was there anything this time around watching it more knowing that we were going to do this video?
Yeah, I was trying to look for things to be a little bit more critical about it, because I've always enjoyed it. It's just kind of easygoing entertainment where you don't have to think too hard through it. So thinking hard through it was a little bit weird. I did notice some of the mistakes in the practical effects this time. When they're at the end, when the what's his name, Emmett, is riding up and down with McKendrick up and down the streets on the opposite sides of the building, and they're shooting back and forth at each other and stuff. There's a point where the guy shoots from the upper balcony, and he kind of slings himself over the side of his horse to shoot. But when it does like the close-up, it's clearly not a horse. It's like, one of those bulls at the bars that the girls ride or whatever. It totally doesn't look like a horse at all. It's just like kind of like going like this, and he's like, and then I just find it interesting, like how, like it was said before, that this movie, like all the heroes in the movie, they all get their payoff. Emmett and his brother Jake, they get to make their trip to California, and of course Jake gets sprung from jail, so he's not hanging from the gallows, and Malachi gets to go to his farm and be reunited with his sister and set all that up, and then Kevin Kline's character gets the midget, which is really cool. So I'm gonna send you to
it was very progressive, I will say. That
yeah.
The main love interest is the midget, and I was waiting for them to have a love scene and then have the music
just
be like,
short.
Dun, 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 dun. And it would totally be fitting. A love scene with a midget, having it be circus music would totally be fitting.
In that way, it was a lot like El Topo, really, right?
Yeah, that's some El Topo in it.
That's
you can see that influence going forward,
Hell.
I told you, El Topo's a 10 out of 10.
And El Topo lives rent free in Josh's mind.
What's the scary thought?
Yeah.
Oh no. All right, how about we do this? Tell me your favorite scene, and we'll do the buckets too. All at the same time. So Lego, start us off. Sorry.
No, you're good. We're combining our favorite scene with our buckets.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. This is Damn. I wish I piggybacked off someone else's. This is no, you're good. I'm just trying to think. Like, there was a lot of scenes that I really liked. I think the one I liked the most was where Sheila was introduced, and she has like the little ramp thing behind the bar, and she has that really like nice interaction with Peyton, and I felt like it just really, like, it was really good character development, and we knew exactly who she was, like, right off the bat, and like it worked well. It established who she was and everything else, and like, it's not as glamorous or as fun as like the bang bang shoot 'em ups, but I thought that was a really well done scene. And I think it's really hard to humanize characters, especially when it's just somebody who walks just into a movie, 2 hours in or hour and a half in, and that was a really good one. I liked your character right from the get-go, so that was cool. As far as buckets go, 10 out of 10. This is a good one. Liked it. It was fun. The music was a little over the top. I mean, when the piano is louder than the gunshots going off, it's kind of like, cool it down, guys. It's all right, But it was a really fun movie all the way through. I liked the different perspective. I liked that it took kind of like the heroes of the West and put them against like the corruption that was going on in the different region, like different parts of the region. I liked that they didn't choose to like exploit native peoples, and just turn them into targets. That was cool. It seemed like a really good movie all around. So 10 out of 10.
Nate?
Oh yeah, it's me.
Well, I'm going in order.
Okay.
What you are. Right.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a different looking order from our side. Like I said, I was trying really hard to be entertained. The only thing that bothered me terribly was the music, but I had a good time with this movie. I liked how, I think my favorite scene was when they were bouncing Danny Glover from the bar, and some of the protagonists stood up for him and made sure that he wasn't, the next one on the chopping block for the noose happy sheriff. And it also had me thinking, between the town that they went through with John Cleese and into this town, that when society went from a place of instantaneous pistol on the hip justice to trying to get some kind of order happening, I can't help but think about how many people were used to a life of, hey, like, the guy shot at me, so then I shot him, like, too bad, and they just kill you anyways. Like, there was probably the transformation from the Old West to, the modern times that happened within our nation. I'm sure there was a lot of eggs that had to get broken during that time, and it was good to see people not be racist and let Danny Glover walk away, and that ended up being one of the key proponents to saving them later on down the road. So I think that's my takeaway. The movie, the music, it took away. In fact, I bet you I'm harping on it so much that the next time you guys watch this movie, Liz and Josh, I don't know if the boys are going to watch it again or not, but I know that Liz and Josh, the next time you watch the movie, you're going to be like, like I'm going to be echoing in your head.
You ruined it for me. Thank you.
No,
I mean, like I've got a Saturday Night Live sketch in my head where like they have the director of this movie making a love story, and it's like 50 Shades of Grey or something, and they're going to get ready to make out, and it's like it startles the people that are getting ready to do it. My mind went so many places with the music. But it was
obviously
it was a fun movie. I'll give it 7 buckets.
Sir Isaac.
My favorite scene was the end when everybody was just shooting them up, and they do the whole. They go to the house, they rescue the kid, and then they go into town and they just fuck it all up, and they bring justice down. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was a good build up from beginning to end. Enjoyed this fuck a lot. 10 buckets. 10 buckets. It was very enjoyable. It was a Liz pick for sure, and I enjoyed it. Thank you. 2 hours went by pretty damn quickly because you were having fun the whole time.
Mr. Jose. Favorite scene in buckets, sir?
It's more of like an establishing shot. It's when they're all riding up together. They're catching up to the stagecoach, and the camera kind of pulls back, and you see all 4 of them. And it's just the soundtrack playing, the mountains in the view, the state. Like that was just like classic Western right there. Like I said, all in all, like the movie just reminded me of that game. It just took me to a good place. It was just fun. There wasn't anything to really think too much about. I did notice that there was kind of like Lego mentioned, there wasn't any Native Americans being used as target practice. But all in all,
none of our Westerns had any of them.
That's true. You just yeah, that's true.
Mine.
I know, my mind just
Wow.
yeah.
Did any of them
Thought
have
about
any
that.
Native Americans in them?
There were some in this one.
I know there were some in this one, but like when they ride up to is it Turley, they're outside the town limits. You see them as they're riding in, but that was like about it.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking about that. Damn. Anyways, but as far as buckets go, I mean, I don't know if that game was based off of it or not. It did feel like it. Even though I don't. I mean, I thinking back to like what was it? Hateful Eight with Quentin Tarantino. I got a lot of those vibes with some of those shots. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 10 out of 10 for you, Liz. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It was dope. It made me want to be a cowboy and buy a Silverado. So 10 out of 10. I don't know if I'm gonna be approved for it, but I will try to buy one.
It's hard to pick a favorite scene because there are a lot of moments in the film where there's some humor. When Emmett and Peyton are in Turley and they meet up with the wagon train people, and the leader of the group of people thinks that they're the guides, the scouts that they're supposed to meet, and starts like yelling at him, and he says, "Oh, you're not this guy," and Emmett's like, "No, my name's Emmett." And he goes, "You're not this guy," and he goes, "No, I'm not the other guy."
Not Holly. Baxter and Holly.
Yeah,
Holly.
I'm not Holly. And then when they go to retrieve the money box for the gosh, what do you call them?
The robbers?
No, they get it from the robbers, but I was saying for the wagon train, the pioneers, I guess. They're trying to retrieve the money box, and the lady's Patricia Arquette's husband goes with them, and he gets killed in the process, and they still come back and deliver the money, and then Peyton's like thinking about Patricia Arquette like while they're like sitting by the fire, and Kevin Costner goes, "Damn, Peyton, her husband's not even cold yet."
That was a favorite line too.
Oh man, that was so brutal.
No, didn't he come back from hanging out with her when they were like, "Where were you at?"
He was just checking up
on some stuff, and they're like,
Did
"Damn,
she
bro,
even
you're
shed one
cold."
tear? Like, I don't remember them telling him, "Hey, by the way, your husband got capped." And
No, he wanted to go take care of those tears. Baby, don't cry. You got to keep your head up. See, fun all around.
Yeah. It's the Wild
and
West,
honestly,
man. Ain't no time for crying. You gotta hop on the
honestly,
next one.
A lot of the best scenes had, like Lego mentioned, had Kevin Kline's character Payton in it. Every scene that he's in really establishes the kind of man he is, the kind of quality of character. So I was pretty impressed with that. I had, for some reason, and maybe it's just because I'm exhausted, but I had forgotten that Kevin Kline was even in the movie.
Hey, dude, he like, because we have it on DVD and on the opening screen, it's got him. Josh goes, "Is that Kevin Kline? Is he in this movie?" I'm like, "Oh my god, he's like one of the main characters.
It's been a while.
He's like the first named person in the movie, and he's the first person that says the first words in the movie."
That is correct.
How could you forget that?
That's correct.
Dumbass.
So, I want to rate this movie high, but I'm not sure how much forward influence that it has on future Westerns, because I think a lot of the stuff that we see in Westerns is really stuff that will trace back to much earlier films. You know, they all have these common qualities. So, but putting that particular category aside, it's a strong 8. It's a strong 8.
That couch is a strong couch because you're sleeping on it. Okay, well, my favorite, I have to do mine. My favorite scene actually does have to do with Kevin Kline's character. It's when he gets his horse. He's holding the reins of the horse, and the horse is kissing him, and he's kissing the horse back, and he has that line, the guy asked him about this, how do I know this, or whatever. He goes, "Can't you see this horse loves me? Because I had a gal that did that to me, didn't make her my wife." And I just like, there it is. That is the Old West right there. But, a lot of, Kevin Kline any of his scenes were really good because he's this comedic nature. But I love this movie. I saw this movie. I'm sure it has something to do with some nostalgia too, but I love this movie because I saw it with my dad. I was 10 years old, and I remember going to the movie theater with my dad and seeing this. And it's probably one of the first memories I had of seeing it with him. Surprised that he took a 10-year-old to a PG-13 movie, but he must have thought very highly of me at the time.
Man, he already scarred you guys with all the horror films he watched. So.
True. So, I mean, taking our categories into account, like Josh said, as far as the forward thinking or forward, influence. I mean, it's a sort of cookie cutter kind of Western. It has all the great American tropes in it that you see. The hero, the shootouts, the horse riding, the pioneering, like this was America and this is, America. But other than that, you can take anything out of any Western for the most part, an American Western anyway. But so I would have to give it an 8. But because it's my movie and I love it so much, it's a 10. Okay, thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you next week with... It was supposed to be Nate, but we flipped.
That's right, Nate did last week.
So it's...
Josh.
You?
It is.
Oh, great. Sorry, guys.
Am I supposed to do the big reveal right now?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Do it.
So,
do it.
If you remember, back in the day when we used to pick our own films, I used to have a couple of categories. So I get you guys involved in kind of choosing your own destiny. So you choose your own adventure, but it always leads to doom. So,
Patriot.
It's only 2 categories and it's only 2 films. So, but the categories are, one of them is Let's Keep Riding, and the other one is 3 white guys and a black guy.
Let's keep riding.
Let's keep riding.
Yeah, let's keep riding.
That's 2.
I want to ride.
Oh, that's it? You guys gonna go with it? Okay. So we're gonna stay with the topic of Westerns.
Woo!
We're gonna go with my personal favorite Western. And also considered to be one of the more historically accurate ones.
Yeah, here with Tombstone.
It's Tombstone.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to see Tombstone after this. I'm so happy.
We're sprinted.
I'm so happy. It's
So,
awesome.
there you go.
I love Tombstone.
Oh, Val Kilmer is
Fucking
so
good movie.
fucking rad in that movie. Oh.
He's getting a boner just talking
Dude.
about it.
It's not that big.
He's like the
Just out of curiosity,
Super
what was
Sam.
the other one?
That's for another time.
I was
Son.
gonna say he's not gonna reveal it. He never revealed them.
Well, it's one of those things that, you know, I saw this movie.
I don't even know.
This movie had 3 white guys and a black guy, and I'm like, I know another great film that has 3 white guys and a black guy. So, anyway, go ahead.
Now he's gonna make us think about
Wrap
it
it up.
until the next go round.
I know it.
I know it.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Have a good evening.